So I'm gonna do a video on tax and tip, and this is actually out of all the things you'll learn this year, this is probably the most useful one, right? So let's say I go to a cafe, Pete's Cafe, as you can see here, and I order a large coffee for $3.50, a Reuben sandwich for $7.50, and onion rings for $3, and apple pie for $2.50. What you need to know is what some of these things mean on when you go to restaurants. The subtotal means how much does this all cost before tax. So I'm going to add this up. I'm going to say, well, that's 10, 13, 14, 15, $15, $16.50. So it's going to be $16.50 when I add everything up. And why is my pen so fat? All right, so $16.50. So that's how much I have to pay before tax. Now, tax is how much you pay for certain goods. And because these are not luxury, or these are kind of like luxury items, I have to pay 8% of $16.50. Now, by now, you should know how to do this. And the easiest way is just to recognize that 8% is really 0.08. Of means to multiply, and $16.50 is just $16.50. If you don't like doing that, and you like to do the percent proportion, by all means, part over whole equals percent over 100, and you will get the same thing. The whole thing is $16.50. That's my bill. And it's equal to 8 over 100, which, take a look, if you divide 8 by 100, or 8 divided by 100, you get 0.08. Anyway, you're going to end up with 100x equals whatever 8 times 1650 is. 48. I'm going to assume it's probably something like 52, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's go to the calculator, right? So 8%. No, I should probably turn that on. 8% of 1650, and I get $1.32. So let's see. My tax, oops, was $1.32. Uh-oh, and I seem to have lost everything that I just had. So that's all right. I'll go back to here. So my tax is $1.32, and this was $16.50, and that's fine because that kind of makes sense. Because remember, 10% of $16.50 would be $1.65. So $1.32 seems to make a lot of sense. Now, all I have to do to find my total is I just have to add 2, 8, 7, 1. $17.82. That's my total. Now, if I need to find my tip, and you should tip because not tipping is not nice. If I need to find my tip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, they say 15% if the service is kind of crummy, 20% if the service is decent, and 25% if the service is great. Well, we'll say it's Pete's Cafe. We'll say the service was okay. So I'm going to find 20% of $16.50. Now, I might get into trouble for saying this, but technically, you're supposed to find the tip based off of the subtotal, not the total, because you're not tipping on tax. And I'm sure I'll get in trouble for saying that, but that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to say $16.50 times 0.02 for 20%. No, that's not true at all. That is not true at all, and I hope you caught that. $16.50 times 0.20 for 20%. I don't actually like to do 0.20 because it kind of messes me up a little bit, so I'm just going to do 0.2. And when I do that, I get 0, 0, 32, 33, 3, 2, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So my tip should be $5.30 to tip on that. And basically, like I said, all I'm doing to find my tip is I'm finding X percent, some percent of the subtotal. All right, and all the subtotal is whatever you ordered added up, and that's all there really is to it. There is one other thing that could happen. And I'm going to go back to a different screen. Don't save. So there is one other thing that could happen. You could say, well, I was a little confused by my buy something, you could say, well, what if I had paid? I paid. Oh, I don't like this. I paid $23.36, and I want to know what was the price before tax. Well, in order to do that, let's see. It's the cost plus 8% of the cost equals the total. So I'm going to pay 100% of the cost, because you have to, plus 8% of the cost, which means I'm really paying 108% of the cost. And that equals the total. Well, my cost is my unknown. That's what I don't know. So I'm going to call it X. And I'm going to say this is 1.08 X equals $23.36. I will divide by 1.08. And let's see what happens. 23.36 divided by 1.08. I get 21.63. I'm going to round. 21.63. So X equals 21.63. And that is the actual cost before. And so if I wanted to find out how much tax I paid, I would just subtract 21.63 from there. 3,271. So my tax was $1.73. And if I'm sure if you take 8% of that, you will get that. All right, tax and tip, super easy. Don't be a cheapskate. Do the right thing. Give them at least 20%.